what and who you are.
I can't get away with it, huh?
Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Let's pray. Our dearest Heavenly Father, we humbly come to this time of prayer, grateful, thankful for your many blessings so bountifully showered upon us. Thank you for this food and the fellowship, friendship that we have here, the work that we do together, the encouragement that we try to provide for one another. Pray to bless the efforts of this club, both locally and around the world, to end the dread disease of polio and bring clean water to those who need it. Again, thank you for the encouragement that are provided by those who are putting service above self. Thank you for the beautiful snow and for the safety we've had thus far on it. And this is our prayer through your Son's name. Amen.
No Fred or Mary Ann today, so we won't be singing today. Let's go ahead and go. We got quite a few guests today, so let's go ahead and start up in front with our guests.
Got my wife and granddaughter.
All right. And welcome.
I have Briley back with me today.
Yeah. Welcome, Bradley.
Briley just needs to join.
I have my guest, my wife Kathy.
All right. Welcome, Kathy. Miranda.
Yeah, I have Vivian with me. She's gotten most of her work done, and her sister's not so much.
All right. Welcome, Vivian. Okay. Happy Bucks. Anybody happy today? Anybody?
Is it my turn?
Yeah, it's your
already?
turn, John.
My heavens, that's quick.
Looks like you may be the one and only, so make it good.
Oh, come on. I didn't see the little packets back there, so I've got a couple of dollars for the packet, and I don't know, I've got a couple of other dollars here, but whatever's there, you got it. And I really don't have a national day today. I've got kind of an anniversary of a birth. It's which most of us call a birthday. Happy birthday to Vladimir Zelensky. Vladimir Zelensky is the president of the Ukraine. He is 45 today. And if you could imagine, if you can think way back to when you were 45, taking on one of the major powers in the world, I think he's got a lot of grit. You know, you got to be awfully proud of that man for doing what he has done and leading what he has led to keep his country free, to try to keep his country free and intact. And I have a lot of admiration for that. So happy 45th birthday to Vladimir Zelensky. And if you would, as I walk back to my seat, just have a moment of silence for the people of Ukraine, those who have died in the conflict, the families of those who have died, for the injured, and the people who are still fighting, and those who live there. Thank you. come in.
Thank you, John. You want it, Rob?
Yeah, put $1 in. On Saturday, we had a men's breakfast at our house, and we had 16 fellows from the congregation come and have breakfast with us. And then, as that was finishing up, we had Cub Scouts start to come in, and we spent the next 4 hours building on Pinewood Derby cars. And so we had all kinds of sawdust and sanding and cutting going on, and then we had the race last night, and that was a whole lot of fun to watch the boys out there all racing their cars. So that's my happy bike.
Great. Any others? Give one real quick. Just happy about the way the Honey with Hunter banquet is going this year. We actually had to stop sales, and we've turned people away because even though it's the 9th year, not sure where, but there's a bunch of new people this year, and we have over 500 seats. And we're trying to look at the diagram and rearrange where we're going to put all the tables, but we finally had to just quit selling dinner tickets because there's no more room in the fairgrounds to fit everybody that wanted to come. So that's just amazing to me that the 9th year that we have this problem. It's great to have this problem rather than be really low. So that's a good problem to have. And I do, if anybody is interested, still have the e-bike and gun raffle tickets and stuff. You don't have to be present for that, so anybody can get those before the banquet. But just real happy about that. Let's see, birthdays or anniversaries. Today is actually the club anniversary of Mary Ann Reed. She's now in the club 28 years. Wow. That's great. And then, so upcoming speakers, we have next week is Charlie, and Josh Clark is going to speak. The 8th was Heather Killy's day, and we're going to have just kind of a club assembly that day, kind of talk about our possible changes to the meeting format a little bit and stuff, just have a big group discussion about that, see what we want to do for sure. And then February 15th is John Lee. So those are upcoming that. And then that's all I have. So today's speaker host is Rick Hayes. Rick?
Well, I'm Rick, and my wife's Angie with me today, and my granddaughter. And between the two of us, we have 4, 5, 6 kids. And I live in Clay County all my life. And my speaker for today is Monica Wallace. She's with Hamilton Center. She's going to talk about the national program called Point in Time.
Hello, everybody. I don't know if you can hear me, if I need to be up here. But I'm Monica Wallace, so I do work at Hamilton Center. I'm the current program manager over our Clay and Putnam site there. So when Ian contacted me about speaking, we kind of talked about different things that I'm involved in and what we do. So I put a little bit of information together in those folders that Briley is passing out for me. So it kind of gives you a little synopsis, I guess. But the first thing, in regards to the point in time, it is basically a homeless count. This is what drives our funding in the states that we receive to help true people that are homeless. So whether they're in a housing like facility, like Lighthouse Mission, Beyond Homeless, those types of places that are close around here, of course, but there's a lot more in Indy area. So we have individuals that will go out and they ask them those questions, like basically trying to find out, how did you get into this situation? Like some demographics information, medical information, if they're trying, some of them are fleeing from a domestic violence issue, just trying to get away. Some of them had lost everything because they ended up getting a divorce or lost their job or whatnot. And then, of course, Housing right now is a very hard situation for individuals to get into, especially if you have any type of background. So a misdemeanor, felony, those types of things. Income, of course, if you don't have a source of income, you can't really be on an income base because you have nothing. So a lot of programs, our landlords will not take them if they do not have the income to pay for that. Of course, with our housing authority here, they do have what's called HUD, housing. So that's what this information goes back to support those numbers. So we can show in different areas where those people are coming from and why. And then we can show that, hey, this county or this region has more of a need. So when those fundings come down from the federal to the state, then they can distribute accordingly. So the point in time basically starts today. We have to be done by noon on Friday. So we're gonna go out this afternoon, thanks to the snow, but we would typically stay like out all day long. And me and another lady, we kind of combine together, we go out together, we go to different places in Clay County. We look for individuals that are in tents or have literally built their own little shelter hut. If you haven't paid much of attention around Clay County, pay attention. I would just encourage you to, because they're there. A lot of people think that we don't have homeless, but they're there. They're just hiding. A lot of times they hide very well. During the day, they'll come out. In the evenings, they'll find a place where they can build some type of shelter, or they go back to their tent, sometimes in a wooded area or whatnot, so they can not be seen, pretty much. So that's basically what the purpose is. We go out, we also give them those warming buddy kits. So we give them sleeping bags, hats, gloves, socks, personal hygiene items, the hand warmers, and I just learned they have toe warmers now, so we have those. So we give them a whole package of stuff so they can have wherever they're at. So that's the purpose of the point in time. I do it through Hamilton Center. It's just basically a volunteer. The other lady that's going with me, she works at Thrive. So we just partner together in different counties, and then we have individuals that go into Putnam County, Vigo County, Park, and Vermilion, so kind of our regional area. Also, I put in your little folders there. I'm part of the Optimist Club, so if you hadn't heard, we did just start that this last June. Restarted it after about 10 years that it had closed. So basically it's, you guys are used to clubs and membership and participating in the community, giving back. Our whole purpose is to build a network, work together if programs are, already developed. There's no sense of reinventing the wheel, but maybe join together, trying to build that positive atmosphere for our children and our youth within our county. So right now we have started the essay contest and an oratorical contest out to middle school and high schools throughout Clay County. All of that information is already out to the schools, the children, or teenagers, I shouldn't say children, huh? So if they want to participate, they have that ability to win scholarships as well, that goes towards college. So just a little bit of information in regards to that. There's also a flyer brochure in there with Hamilton Center, just giving you a basic overview of services that are provided within our agency. There's also another Life Project application. We had received a grant a couple years ago that we can provide skills training to individuals for that, hitting that younger adult age to even like up to 27 years of age. So right now, of course, COVID stopped the whole groups coming together to do everything, so we did a lot of stuff virtually or over the phone. So this April, they're actually going to try to start a group back in our Clay County office. So with these skills, people are learning how to budget appropriately. They are learning how to cook, whether it's from scratch or in a crock pot. They're also learning hygiene, personal hygiene. They learn job skills, all of that kind of stuff within this 10-week program. It's all totally free. It can be open to anybody. They can also get incentives for being a participant. So at the end of each week, if they're teaching them how to make something in a crock pot, they go home with a crock pot. If they're teaching them budget skills, they go home with that budget planner and a calculator. They talk about time management, they go home with an alarm clock. Just different things. Laundry skills, they go home with a whole laundry kit with softener and laundry soap, cleaners, they talk about that. They talk about the basic like tools, you know, they get a little toolkit, the basic things of how to fix things around your house. So it's just basically a lot of those skills that our younger adults are missing because they were never taught when growing up. And then the other thing, I'm also part of the benevolence ministry, so I'm on that board. I'm the one that coordinates the holiday assistance program, so I just put that information in there just to kind of give you an overview. This started many, many years ago. I've done it, this past year was my 16th year of doing all the coordination, but I bet it's probably 25-ish years at least going on. So the whole purpose of that was just the networking, making sure we stretch out and we cover as many families that are in need, to help them with food, gifts during the holidays, those kind of things. So we partner with like Toys for Tots, Shop with a Cop, a lot of our churches and businesses, individuals, families, whatever, they just contact me, tell me, you know, what they're interested in doing, and then we try to make it work the best that we can. And then sometimes people want to be anonymous, and that's perfectly fine. They'll either go out and get the gifts or the food themselves. They bring it to me at my office. I take care of the delivery, whether it's myself or I utilize my children. So if you didn't know, and you know Briley, she is my daughter. So now that they all have a driver's license, I can use them. So we deliver food a lot of times, and then the gifts as well. So that's just a little synopsis about that. But last year I did put the numbers in there of what we covered, and that's pretty typical. In between 300 and 400 families every year for Thanksgiving, and then Christmas. About in between 700 to 800 children every year is about what we cover. I think the most we have ever covered kids-wise is about 1,000, and that was a few years ago. So it's an awesome project. It's really good for the youth, for them to be able to deliver something to a child that's never had a bicycle, and to see that gleam on that kiddo's face, it's just amazing. And then when you have parents that actually are grateful that someone thought about them, you know, and the tears that come to their eyes, and it's just that ability to give back to them. And it does not always have to be just because they're on Medicaid or some state-assisted program. It could be just because, you know, a dad had to have surgery and the mom's the only one working right now, and they're just struggling. You know, so a lot of times people will call me and say, you know, hey, this is the situation, and usually someone calls me, I'm going to make sure they're taken care of. So we have done very, very well in that regard. Toys for Tots this year is a big success every year, but it's nice to be able to coordinate and network with those individuals. So, does anybody have any questions? Uh-huh.
Do you hear or work anything with Charlotte Ryers Group, the ones who make the mats and the pillows out of plastic bags?
No, never have.
I know they go to Terre Haute and they have certain times that they meet the homeless and donate to stuff. I don't know whether she did anything here.
I haven't heard.
Okay.
It might be something for me to ask for next year though, or if they're doing the same type of thing that we're doing.
No, I think it's always in Terre Haute.
It's always in Terre Haute?
I think.
Could be. What was your question?
So your coordination efforts, is that through your role with the Hamilton Center, or how does that?
It's actually through a lady, Lee Durbin. She is our coordinator. So she is actually runs the Beyond Homeless in Putnam County. So she coordinates with the state. She basically from her point, and then she finds us, volunteers, to go out and spread throughout and cover all the region.
And as far as like the gift giving and that sort of thing, is that the same thing? Is that a function of your work with Hamilton? Or?
Nope, totally separate. So all of that is all volunteer. So the benevolence ministry in itself was developed basically to be that networking or coordination piece for, say, people donate funds to us. They help with rental assistance and utilities, medications, transportation, those types of things as well. So a lot of times when people want to apply for assistance somewhere, they'll say, well, have you went to your trustee first? And so that's kind of like your first step. And if they say, okay, well, I can't help you or whatever, then they go to the benevolence ministry. So instead of just handing out funds to in that regard, they make them like, show me, you know, let's do a budget plan and kind of an educational purpose over it, not just hand it over. So it's more of a coordination piece.
And that's the benevolence.
And then the holiday assistance is just a branch off of that.
And is there contact stuff in this packet about that?
Yep, I put it in the holiday assistance, my name and my cell phone number's on there. So if anybody's interested in that, then definitely let me know. I know a lot of like your churches or even the hospital, different places will put up angel trees. It's kind of, you know, common. They'll just tell me, you know, how many children do you want to adopt? And then I will send them the information for all of those.
You work through the food pantries that we have?
Yeah, we coordinate, so a lot of times they'll get sometimes turkeys donated or something. So if I have food left over or whatever, I'll be like, hey, you know, I can give you all of this to go with your turkeys. Or sometimes we just utilize the blessing boxes and we'll go around and do that too. I know the last few years, the food pantry, the main one here, I mean, they had plenty, like they didn't need anything extra, so I used the blessing boxes and just filled them up. Anybody else have any questions?
When you say that there are a lot of, I don't know the right term, but homeless encampments basically in this county, what areas is that, are we seeing them?
The most?
Yeah, because I mean, I live here and I can think of maybe one that I saw that was short-term and I didn't appear that there were several people there, so I'm just out of curiosity.
And they randomly pop up in different places. I mean, I've showed up at my office at 6:30 in the morning and someone's sleeping by my front door, because it's kind of like an in-camp and, you know, it's a wind walk, basically. So we, you know, randomly find that. But if you go to Craig Park, over by the dog park in that wooded area, sometimes you'll see tents popped up or they'll take a tarp and they'll make their own. And we were just talking, Riley and I, on the way here at Forest Park. The stage there has it underneath. Sometimes you'll find them there because it's shelter and a wind block. Down, of course, down by 70, the hotel there will put them up. And sometimes the benevolence ministry or churches or individuals will purchase a room for a couple nights for someone to stay. But it's not permanent by no means. And a lot of times you'll find them in the wooded areas around like 70, like down on 42, or down south by Clay City, where you're crossing the bridge. What is that? Is it the Eel River? What is that? That crosses there. You guys know this better than I do. You know, so yeah, so where you cross over there, right on the right-hand side, you'll see all the trailers and stuff against the water, or camps or tents. You'll see them pop up there, and they're random. A lot of them are random. A lot of people are transient. Some people are just released from a jail at midnight and basically fend for yourself kind of situation. Those are the ones that I usually find at my door. So
Behind Kroger and Walmart.
yeah, behind Kroger and Walmart.
You'll find a lot of places.
Anywhere there's like it doesn't even have to be a big wooded area, but it's just a section. Enough for them to put up a tent that's, you know, up against trees so it doesn't blow away, of course, or down by a water source. So we go out a lot of times and walk the waterways. The Craig Park, the walkway there that they built, the trail, sometimes you'll find them in there as well. And then of course up by Mansfield area, closer on that way, a lot more wooded areas, you'll see them.
And I would imagine there's a lot of frustration surrounding the fact that all these great services that are offered become somewhat impossible to pursue for somebody dealing with homelessness. Like to qualify for assistance in a lot of ways, if there's no address and there's no way of contacting them, or, you know what I mean?
And a lot of times when you're just talking to people, just have a conversation with them. just like they're a normal person, and you find out so much. There's some people that have degrees. You know, maybe they had their own business or worked for a good business and then they lost their job and they just lost everything. Sometimes it's mental health, sometimes it's substance abuse, but not always. Sometimes it's just they're just done with having any responsibilities or whatever. They don't want any. A lot of people have Social Security. They get them downloaded on a little credit card now. It's not so much you have to deal with banks or have anything like that, so they have their money wherever they go. Any other?
I'd like to say thank you for what you do. I know on benevolence and things, it's a lot of free, no pay. You do a lot of extra. I mean, I've been on the board for a few years, and seeing what you do and you go the extra mile, it's free and charity, what you do.
No, thank you. Anybody else have any questions? I know that's kind of a randomness, but if you have anything, I mean, my cell phone number is on the holiday assistance form, so if anybody wants to contact me, they can.
Got something for you. Token of our appreciation, we give you an hourglass here, and it has our 4-way test on it.
Well, thank you.
Okay, well, if there's nothing else for the good of the club, we'll go ahead and rise and say our 4-way test. Are the things we think, say, or do?
Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned?
Be safe and have a great day.
Did anyone not
Did you
get a
get one of
folder
these?
I didn't.
Okay.
that would like a folder?